Hi guys, this is my teacher planner. I am getting ready to order another one because who doesn't need a good teacher planner for the illusion that you have control over what's going on in your classroom right now, right? So I order the Bloom teacher planner. I have used a couple of different types of planners. I've used one at Staples, that's the kind that you can put together, whatever pages you want. That one seemed to come apart really easily for me. I didn't like that part of the design. I've also used the Erin Condren planner, which I think is, personally, I didn't find it to be any better than this, and this was about half the price. So I really like it. I'm going to show you some of the features of it, and I'll link the page down in the description box if you'd like to order one for yourself. But this is what I will be using for the 2020 and 2021 school year. So as you can see, you have your choice of a lot of different kinds of covers. If you go into the website, you can see I picked this one. I like the inspirational quotes, and this actually has inspirational quotes throughout the entire planner. So as you go to the different months, this one says teachers plant the bulbs of the future. There's all these different ones, which is just kind of nice. I really love the artwork. This has different florals in different places. When you open it up, the first page has room for your personal contact information, and then you also write a mission statement for yourself for that school year, which I thought was kind of neat and inspirational. Then there's a place for your school schedule and notes, like if you have any teachers that are pushing into your classroom, you can write things like that there. And then that can be like photocopied and used in a sub-plan if you needed to. This is actually information for the substitute, that's what it's for. So you just run copies of this, and then there's a place where the sub can make absences notes and what we didn't get to do, classroom behavior, things like that. Then you have student information pages. Like this, so it has a place for the student name, contact info, and other notes, 3 different columns. You have a communication log. You can see I really didn't use mine. There's a little bit on the other page that I won't show you for obvious reasons, but I basically use this as a place where I can jot things down if I happen to contact a parent outside of the regular school hours. So if I do something with a parent at school, typically I put it in my information that I keep at school all the time. But if I happen to need to talk to a parent and I think it's important that I notate what we talk about at home, which obviously with virtual learning, it's kind of nice to have this. This is just a place where I can put it, and then if I need to add it to my other contact log later, I can. I've kind of started doing a lot of my contact information digitally because it's just easier for me to go back and check it. All right, so you've got a place to put all of your website and your logins that you use, which is really nice, but you have to keep this in a safe place if you're going to do that. You can't just leave it out on your desk for obvious reasons. Field trip information, I never used that one. This is kind of nice. There's a grid paper in case you want to sketch out like a design of your classroom, or however you want to use it. You could photocopy it and make copies. You're allowed to use personal copies as long as you don't give them away to people since you purchased the product. And then you have your grade book, which this is the same as what I did with everything for the contact log. I record things in the grade book when I bring things home to grade and I don't have time to enter them in my online system, or let's say the online system's down. The other thing that this was super helpful for, I made a column in here and I put the numbers, all of my students' bus numbers, so that this year when we had virtual learning, I was sending home materials sometimes on the buses for the kids because they were all getting lunches from the school district. So it was simple for me to just put it in a packet or a binder and send it home to them. So I had their bus number right here, and I had all of their names, everything was organized. So that was really nice. It's also nice just sometimes because when you're at home, I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes I get stupid and I can't remember all the kids in my class, even though I see them every single day and I know who all of them are. But for some reason, when I try to do something at home and I'm labeling or making like group names for kids, if I'm planning and I just want to, figure out who's going to work together the best ahead of time, sometimes I can't remember all my kids' names like on the fly like that. So I have it all written down that way, and it's always in here where I don't have to find it. So that's nice. So you've got quite a few grade book pages. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 double pages of grade book, which is plenty for the school year, even with semester classes. So then you have a place with important dates for the school year, which I love. So if they give you something at the beginning of the year and you don't have time to put it in your monthly calendar at that time, you can stick it in there, and then later on when the month starts, you can go in and you can add it. Like if you're sitting and planning, sometimes it's easier just to, this is at the front of your planner. If you're in a meeting like a PLC or like a staff meeting and you don't want to take the time to flip through, then you can just put it in the front and add it later. So then I did not get my planner last year until it was like September, like mid-September. So this is the August empty one for that reason. But at the beginning you have like planning for the month, and then you have a whole month of boxes that you can jot notes in. And then you have these pages that this is what it looks like when it's blank. So you've got your days of the week, you have special boxes down the side if you want to add something special that's going on, and look at how big it is. I love the fact that this is a block planner because we're on blocks, and I hate those little tiny boxes for filling anything out. It's so inconvenient, it doesn't work, it's not practical. So this worked much better for me. So I would put in, like if I had meetings or anything special like that, I would put that in over here. Or like if I had a doctor appointment or something that I didn't want to forget, if I was gonna have a sub, I would put that in there. And then over here, because it's just one long strip like this, I would just make boxes, and I had 3 blocks a day, and then I had planning. So I would stick special notes in like here for planning, and then I would make all of my like things I was going to do during planning. I would make notes to myself in here, and then everything I was doing with my classes I put in here. And I typically only divided this in half because the way my schedule worked is I had 2 grade levels at a time. I teach 6th through 8th grade science, but I don't know what it's going to be like this year, but last year it was semesters. We've talked about going to year-long this year for all of our students, which I would love because it's hard to develop the concepts in a semester. But I think that this was nice because I only had 2 grade levels per day. So I think even if we go on year-long, we would be on A-Day, B-Day. So I think that would still work the same way for this. So I just divided it in half, and then I have plenty of room to put like my warm-up activity, my standard at the top, and then, you know, my main activity, guided instruction, and then the assessment. So there's plenty of room. I even was able to fit in some notes about how I was personalizing learning for different students. And then this is what it looks like at the end of the month. You have something called August in review, so the month in review, and you have an opportunity to write down anything important that you want to remember that happened that month, or some ongoing projects that you're working on and like where you're at with them. Then you have a plan for that month, the month's focus, and goals for yourself for the month, which I think is really super helpful. It just reminds you that you need to constantly be setting goals for yourself. We have our students do that, but sometimes we forget to take time to do it for ourselves. So as you see, then I get to October and I started to use it, and then this is what it looks like. And I'm a color person, and I just bought these little stickers at the Dollar Tree, and I think some parents gave me some too because I told them that I like to use them. But it was like, you know, days that I was going to enter grades on things, or days that I had to do anything that went home to the parents, you know, little reminders. I have stickers for that. Days that were tests, conference days, all these different things, report cards. I had stickers for all of those. So this is what it looked like. Sometimes you'll see in my planner, like I don't have everything totally filled out, and if sometimes that's because we're working on an ongoing project, so I had it like a couple days before, which is why this is my day-to-day, but I always have my monthly or unit-long plan going on. Depending on what I'm teaching, my units might be 2 or 3 weeks, or some of them are like as long as 6 weeks. And depending on what happens during the school year, sometimes I'll take that unit and I'll divide it up. So I might teach 4 weeks of it. I might take a break, teach something that's short, because the kids just kind of need that break. They get over a certain topic after a while. So we do something in the middle, and then I can, see where the kids are and kind of give an assessment at the end of that time and decide what I'm going to do and where I'm going to go forward for the last 2 weeks of the unit. So that's kind of how I do that. And so if I have something that's empty like that, it's because I planned it in my previous week, and we just are continuing that. So like this one in particular was a weather balloon. The kids were creating their own balloon, their hot air balloon, to show convection. And they had to do a lot of like STEM type inquiry process on that. So they were doing all different things. So what one student was doing was not what another student was doing. They were truly like experimenting, and then when something didn't work, then we would talk about it and they would go back to the drawing board. So it was really different every day. So I think it's kind of nice too to like jot some notes in a journal about where your kids are if you're doing something that's processed like that, like problem-based learning or whatever, so that you have some record of how they have, progressed individually. But as long as you have everything written somewhere consistently, you're good. All right, so I'm trying to think what else you need to know. So that's the month stuff. And then if you go to the end of the planner, you have a year in review. I need to fill this out for this year. I think this would be a great activity for me to do right now as I'm thinking about next year, just thinking about how things went, and especially focusing on the last several months when we were in distance learning, because we are going to be doing distance learning with some of our students by parent choice. So our governor said that we need to give parents a choice, because obviously some of the kids have health issues, or some of the family members have health issues and can't come back with a mask on, or for whatever reason they don't want to be exposed, different reasons. So we have to be prepared for virtual learning, but we just don't know if it's going to be all of our students or just some of our students. So I think I'm going to really take some time and think about this over the next few days, and make some notes to myself about things that didn't work and things I want to change. I also love that this has a pocket here. I use this all the time, and you see I have my little clips that I bought also at the Dollar Tree. And I was trying to see if it had a pocket in the front too, but it doesn't. It's only the back pocket. But I think this is really sturdy. That's the other thing I like about it. It has the tabs on the side, so you can find things pretty quickly. But this right here, as a teacher, I don't know about you guys, but I'm always stacking things up and throwing things around, because I'm in a hurry, moving things around in my classroom, especially as a science teacher. I have so many materials that I'm managing and moving around every day. So I'm not that careful about things. I throw my planner around a little bit. I set heavy things on top of it. With some of the other products that I've used, they had like one of those bindings. It's like a heavy duty plastic binding that it would pull out and my pages would come out. That is so annoying. I do not want a product that I'm gonna have to worry about that. This is small rings, and it's pretty tightly woven, and it's pretty strong, like it's well laminated in here, and they're all tiny holes. So even if one of them pulls, it's not gonna pop off. You would have to like really abuse this for the cover to come off. Once the cover comes off of planner, you might as well buy a new one if you're a teacher, because unless you have something you can stick it in and it's constantly in there so that it's not getting messed up, because otherwise the pages start falling off. So that is my planner. It's the Bloom planner, and like I said, I will link it below in the description, but it's at bloomdailyplanners.com. And they have lots of different choices. They also have different configurations if you want different insides, but this was the teacher one, and it worked well for me. So, all right,